Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Trade the Pool live stream with me, Scott, and Money Mitch on the stream as well. How you doing, Mitch?
Excited to get started in the new gig. And of course, when you make new moves, what do? You spend money. So I'm looking to make some money today. Let's get after it. You know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's get it started.
So how are we doing today? So the Thursday and Friday was crawling in terms of the overall market, just literally sideways. I struggled to make any money on the NQ on Thursday or Friday or the Qs themselves. So we're expecting something. Now, we do have Nvidia this week. We do have earnings on Wednesday PM. Anything else on the go earnings-wise, Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, on the earnings docket, of course, the main one, everyone will be looking at Nvidia. But Monday, we got Palo Alto, we got Zoom tonight. And then on Tuesday, we get AutoZone, we get Lowe's, we get Macy's. So some retail will be coming in this week also. I know that it's big focus on tech, but you also get retail. You get TJX, you get Target, you get Ralph Lauren, right? All that kind of retail going to be coming in. So XRT is one that I'm going to be calling out to be in play today. And this week, ETF. And what is that? That's on the retail. So look out for that. And of course, we'll get AMD, analog devices, and different to report soon here. Workday on Thursday into it. So that's a big docket for the earnings side of things. We'll talk all about the earnings. And who knows? You know what? I think, especially for that NVIDIA report, we're going to take a little bit of a learning lesson. We're going to dive a little deeper in that earnings report. I'm going to try to find us something that maybe we can learn a little bit more about how NVIDIA's business works, right? Where do the percentages go in their segments? This is all things that you can learn right here. Hit the like button. Let's keep it going. How are we looking out there, Scott? Looks like you're trying to make a website.
Yeah, always trying to make a website. It's Wix is out. Yeah, so Wix has gapped up on their earnings this morning. They've released this morning, so they've gapped up. I'm not sure what else we've got. All I can say is we've gapped up above that sell side liquidity that was pumped into it, where we worked our way out of the last one, pumped into the second one, and then earnings out. So we are above. So now we're kind of into kind of equal highs here. At the kind of 148. Did we get 149.60? So let's see what we can work off on the open for that, whether we'll use the backside of this and go. We'll keep an eye on Wix this morning. But having a look at the small caps, we had GTBP this morning. Shot through a sell side liquidity ball down here on the hourly. Let's see if we've got any benchmarks to play from down the bottom here. There's a couple of odd prints down here. Let's go from here. Right, okay, so benchmark 2 has been played at about $9.10 at the high. So that's what we're looking at for GTBP today. So look at that sell side benchmark. So what we're looking for is drilling down on this and seeing what we've got. So for the minute, the buy side's going to be sitting where's the most recent one? The most recent one is going to be sitting here, let's say, ignoring that switch on. So we're in it right now. It's at 750. If we break that to the downside, we could have more momentum to the downside. But that's the buyer pull. Note we're in with those moving averages. Where's the VWAP on here? We're smacking to the VWAP. We're in the moving averages. So tiny push down maybe for a buy opportunity. But considering we are on a benchmark 2, so there's also the sell side. To get any higher, we've got to break 854 and close above before we start looking at those pre-market highs or anything higher than that. So let's see how we play the open on GTBP in this buy side liquidity pool and what happens up there at the 850s. CTNT last Tuesday, Wednesday, I think we was looking at this. Oh, we're already done it. Okay, so I was only looking at this not like 40 minutes ago, but there you go. I was going to say, look for a short play up at this area here around 13. It's obviously popped to 14 there and then a harsh rejection off. So the thing, it was holding buy side liquidity pools all the way. So now it has put in that kind of decent high. We can take this one up here and see if that's already hit resting. Yeah, it looks like it's hit resting on there. So it'll be interesting to see now then if we can work our way out of this, because if that's just a drop to fade, let's zoom in a little bit. If that's just a drop to fade, there could be plenty of room if we break under that buy side pull. So I'm going to say, yeah, a retest up here of around 13 would be really nice. That's a sell side liquidity. So the question is there a buy side trade on to play up there from the 9s to take some off at this the kind of 12, 70, 13 area? That's what I've got at the moment. Got a couple of others to look at. I'll be right back with you. Mitch, you looking at anything right now?
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit of oil. I'm going to be looking at Valero. And why am I looking at Valero? Well, look at the index, right? I always try to stay to the sectors and look at this. Look at the MACD starting to kind of set up for a cross here. So I'm not going to make it complicated for myself. The technicals say that energy could get a lift. Oil could get another push. I'm watching also WTI. I always watch crude oil to kind of pay attention to that. And one of the things that I see common, and I'll pull this into the screen so you guys can see this, is that there's a common trend of like kind of late May to start getting a little bit of that early summer spike. Now, summer is usually a little bit of a range where it goes up and down. And then eventually going into the winter months, we usually get a little bit of a lift. So I'm going to be looking for a similar move here, just a little bit of a lift going into June, maybe late June. So oil in play here. With that being mentioned, Valero is definitely one that's on the watch. You can take a look at Halliburton, other names like that, right? You could take a look at PSX, Phillips 66. These are some stocks that you could definitely watch in the oil and gas. XOM being your leader there, right? You can see it up there trying to prop through that 120. But Valero is one that I love trading because it has a tendency of, when it does break out, of being a nice little kind of runner there. So I'm going to be looking for pullbacks somewhere about halfway on Friday's action. You guys can see it clearly here. I'll use my retracement tool here to look for 50% retracements. That's going to be closer towards your 162.80 levels or 163, somewhere in between there. I'll be looking for some quick pullback out the gates in energy. But definitely looking at the sector-wise, energy is one that definitely stands out to me. Basic materials has really started to take off. We'll see what happens there. Silver starting to catch up to the move. We talked about that last week as we were looking at gold a little bit, and gold was starting to get hot. I talked about would silver maybe come back and start to catch up. Well, you guys see it there. It's starting to make a move. MAG in play for those traders that want to trade that silver trade. That's not a bad one there. Financial services starting to push off. So you can definitely keep your eyes out on the big boys like Morgan Stanley, JPM. Look at this chart. That's a nice little takeoff there. We could get a little pullback to the 90 in May. So that's one thing to talk about. That's that light blue line. So we could get a little bit of a pullback followed by another rally. I'll keep watch on that. And utilities have continued to stay hot. We've talked about this multiple times. XLU. Look at this, guys. Look at that. That really got hot there. And this is one that we've been pointing out for 2 or 3 weeks now. So I'd like continued trends. And I talk about this all the time. Sometimes it might not be the sexiest play, but it's definitely making some money out there. So definitely utilities on the watch. Duke, Nextera Energy, right? They've slowly just gone up. We were watching Duke back at 100 and it's at 103. That's not a monster move, but 4% consistently sometimes can really pay the bank. All right, let's keep going, guys. We'll take a look at some smaller names. I even saw Tupperware showing up on my scanner. What happened to GME Insanity, man? I left and it was hot. I come back, it ain't so hot anymore.
We didn't know whether we had a new roaring kitty, mate. When you went away for a couple of days and the roaring stopped, so I don't know what's happened there. I do know we've got below that buy-side pull, though. So he's been posting a lot. I think he's released a new coin as well called $Kitty, right? I think so. I think he's going for an altcoin as well there. He's just trying to rinse it right now. I think that boy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Definitely the momentum slowed down. I'm wondering if the momentum could pick back up. I know they did an offering and things like that, and that definitely disrupts things. But who knows? Who knows, right? Like always, I always say nobody knows, really. One of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs. So shout out to Jimi Hendrix. Let's keep going. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. All right, let's see what we can come up with today. And of course, the pennies. Scott already talked about some of those, but if you guys have any you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat. We'll definitely catch it.
So we got in today then, Nolly. Great Scott, Scott C, Tiny T, all the regulars in there. And Bullseye. Bullseye, I know you're still having this issue, man. I know you've reached out to support, but I'm going to have to push you to support again, right? We get like, this is the trading show. We're not here to answer support questions, unfortunately, but I do appreciate, you know, what you're going through there. But yeah, listen, even if we have to get Tim on and we have to have it out, so find out the background to it. Mitch, what do you reckon?
Yeah, what I would say is, you know, one thing that we do want to let you know, though, Bullseye, is we do see you, right? And I think that that's important, too, is just to be recognized. We're recognizing you. We understand that you're having some issues with the Discord. Unfortunately, you know, Scott and I don't run the Discord, so we can't just trigger you back like that. But one thing is for certain, reach out, explain exactly what happened so that the situation is understood on our side, and we'll definitely reach back out to you. Let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on in the market. Let's see what we can find, right? I mean, I'm doing pretty good in this account, so I'm trying to really balance back. Of course, this is the kind of the eval account. We're up about 1,000, trying to keep battling this week, right? So let's see what we can come up with, guys. I'm going to be taking some swings, and to tell you the truth, that's how I made majority of this account already, right? Is taking a shot on a swing trade. So definitely smash the like, guys, for some of those actions. And if you guys see a stock that you guys want to talk about, big, small, doesn't matter. We'll talk it all here on the show. Let's keep getting into it and take a look at what else is coming up this week. On today, I will say that we will be having some Fed speak right at lovely 9 a.m. So they're probably speaking right now. Chris Waller, Michael Barr, and then we got at 10:30, we got Fed Vice Chair Philip Jefferson. So there will be some Fed speaking out there. Who knows if that moves the market? You never know, but one thing's for certain, we want to keep you guys informed. We'll see what happens on the SPY, as the SPY has been on a little bit of a breakout. Everyone thought sell in May, go away. Well, there you see it, and there's no sell in May, at least so far. Definitely getting a nice little push. Technology also starting to grind higher and just continuing the grind. So we'll see what happens with Nvidia after raise price targets, right? A lot of price targets are starting to be raised with the earnings coming up, and big levels to watch above 960. That's going to be the levels to watch probably all week until the earnings, right? You can see this trend line running into that 960. It's going to be a little bit of headroom there. We'll find out what happens. There's some names dropping in there. Noel coming in with some names. You want to maybe go through some of those, Scott?
Yeah, let's have a look. I've got a few on there. So you mentioned TUP earlier, right?
Yeah.
So some of the things that appear on the scanner, I think some of the mistakes people make is they appear on the scanner and they think it's hot and that it's going to go to the moon, and that's not necessarily the case with small caps, right? They've got their levels. Yes, we can blow through them and go to the moon. Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it this year. We've seen it every year. These hot sectors that go through, and we always have our supernova trades. But part of the idea of calling these levels out is to know, yeah, it may be on the scanner, it may be the top one on the top gappers or the highest gainers, but it may already be over. And that's what we're trying to get an idea of. And we use that market open and the momentum there to see how that plays out. So TUP we had, again, last Tuesday. It hit the bogey level in between the two benchmarks, come down, held the resting buy side liquidity pool, literally didn't even use it all up down to 140 and then rejected off. And since then, Friday has started to go again. Now, our benchmark 2 is up there at 280, so there may not be too much room on this play to the upside. It's almost a double top if we look at this on any higher time frame. But the volume is there today, so we will keep an eye on it and see what happens on the open. If I'm drilling down on TUP, we're just doing the same pre-market, ignoring that kind of liquidity open there when they switch the machines on, just coming in to see where that buy side is. So it was acknowledged there, but anywhere between 227 and 238 to be rather specific, you can round them off, is the buy side pull. Now, we've already done the first sell side hold, right? So if we was looking to short, the sell side hold is already already been used to a certain extent. So there's another one right here at 255-ish to 260 something, just say 260. So we've got a sell side here as well. So the key to getting any higher towards 280, 240, 280, 290 is the break of this 260 and holding above it. So what will we look out for? We will look to see if we dip into 235 on the open. If we do we see some extra volume coming in on a tape on the buy side? And if we do, then we can target that 250 in the first instance and perhaps hold some on to see if we can get up there. Saying that, the moving averages, if we went to the buy side, we'd need the 200 to work for us because we're currently utilizing those retail moving averages above us right now. And the VWAP is right there as well, smack in the middle there at 247. So keep an eye. It's a little bit messy on TUP this morning, but it doesn't mean it's completely ruled out. But I prefer the dip to then buy the push up to 255 on TUP. NKGN has been on the scanner as well. Shame I missed that one because it went straight into a really slim sell side liquidity. Really slim because going back, it was a really hard rejection off, literally puts a slim sell side on it, and we tap right into that at basically 204 this morning and have not come back yet. But the buy side is holding. You do have the moving averages down here, so we'll keep an eye out for NKGN, and we'll be looking for 180 to 190 on the target up there for the long. Else, if we get that rejection up there at 180, 190, then we can see what that sell side looks like, because this could be kind of dead cat bounce, right? We've already been there once. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a huge spiker today, but we'll see if there is a play in there. That's NKGN. The other one, MTC, spiked just above its benchmark 2 here. Say just above. It was a couple of dollars, but it just literally went from 7 to 16 in a few minutes, a matter of minutes. So let's bring that in. Let's go from the close to the high. Yeah, so we're utilizing that buy side. We're pushing deeper into it, right? We've got a momentum, pre-market momentum push down on this one. So we'll see what we get down here. Again, same plan. If we're looking at the nines, low nines to get this out, currently we could be targeting 13.5 to 14.5 on the sell side liquidity, which would be a retest of the benchmark. Okay, so that's all I look for. Same thing. I'm just waiting for the tape now to hear what happens on the open or just after the open. First couple of minutes is going to be noisy. Then after that, it'll settle down and we'll listen for some bids coming on these small tickers here. What else you got, Mitch?
All right, looking around, I did see we had a little bit of a list. We'll go through some of these. Let's go through them, right? I love bigger stocks. Let's take a look at some of these. Dell has been hot, right? Dell has been hot. It's up there towards 151. And I mean, look at the change that Dell did. I still give myself a little bit of a whack on the head when I thought about buying this company in the pandemic. I mean, it was down at the 40s. It's now 150. It's 3 times that. So definitely Dell's been taking off. And a lot of this has to do with kind of the 5G coming in and them getting into different players, different plays. But look at that. It's been kind of getting that pop, drop, pop, drop, pop. Hey, it could be dropping a little bit, maybe pulling back, but this has been hot. I wouldn't run into it. Definitely on the short side of things. I'd definitely be looking more long on this. PanW is going to be reporting, right? And these earnings, at least cyber stocks have been hot lately. You can take a look at different action out there, but definitely PanW not looking too bad at all, and definitely staying hot as of late. So we'll see what happens on different names like CrowdStrike. Those are all names that will be in play with this PanW. And then, of course, Boeing, man, they can't get out of their own way. Will they get a nice new CEO? The search is on out there because there's a lot of problems at Boeing. And that's saying it lightly, right? I mean, there's tons of issues out there. And then we'll see how this also affects. I'm going to be looking at the airline trade. Of course, with oil going higher, these could take a little bit of a pullback. But maybe American gets another lift here. I'm going to be watching. We'll see what happens. DAL has been topping out here since the beginning of the year. DAL is up about 44%. So Delta Airlines has been the best one for the year. We'll see if it starts to take a little bit of a pullback. And what else do we got here? Microsoft, the softie, as I like to call it. We'll see what happens with softie here. Definitely trying to get back above the 430s. You can see it. It's been bumping up there. Can't get through it. Let's see if we can start pushing through it now with another run in the Qs. That could definitely help. You can see the Q, of course, always on the radar with NVIDIA being talked about. You're going to watch it, AMD. And it's kind of, played this little fake out to the downside, now starting to change tunes. This is when a lot of buying starts to come in, and you can see it here on the volume. You can see how the spike in volume came in the last couple of days. I think those are people trying to call their shots to the long side. I'm going to be looking for pullbacks to 160. Maybe we get the first hour to the downside and then followed by another 165 push. Right now we're above those 165s, so maybe we can get a little bit of a pullback into that area. Then we'll watch to see if we come back into like this 163 to 160 range. That doesn't look bad for me on AMD. And last one up, Amazon. I'm coming through them all here for you, Noel. So definitely smash the like. We'll see what happens on Amazon. It just starts to turn to the downside. With specialty retail and it being a retail week, this is something definitely to watch. XRT, of course, on the radar. Retail names going to be watched. And, of course, when you start looking also into software, those names are also making moves too. I saw Wix being mentioned. Well, those are software infrastructure names. So definitely software names are going to be on the radar. Zoom reports tonight too, right? Software application, not infrastructure, but definitely software, retail, energy, definitely these technology names. That's where the action is going to be. And guess where we'll be? Right there to go bring you guys along. Let's see what happens. We're getting towards the open in just a few minutes. Definitely keep throwing up those likes. It's good to see you guys out there. LI being talked about in the chat. That's just one that I want to touch really quickly, Scott, and then I'll go to you. LI, the big thing about LI, earnings not doing well, and there's been more kind of tariffs that have gone to the EVs in China. And I think that this is going to cause a negative turn in these companies. LI already getting a big hit, and LI has a big exposure into the government in China. So that tells me something too. And so I'm starting to watch all these XPEV, NIO. I could see them all coming down. And NIO is only $5 now when it used to be. I mean, this thing was up there to 65s, right? So there's going to be some struggle out there in China EV. We'll see how that affects. Lately, China has been doing well. So it's kind of like a mixed noise, because if you look at the FXI, which is the China Index Fund, you can see how that's spiked. We'll see what happens there. Kicking it to you, Scott. What are you seeing out there? Oh, the good old mute button. The good old mute button, Scott.
The good old mute button.
It's good. It's good to you sometimes. Or like I like to say.
DYN. Rolling. Give them hotkeys a go. So DYN is trying to push Nolly. Yeah, you was above 30. Looking at the higher time frame, what have we got here? Yeah, sell side liquidity. So it's off buy side liquidity there a few days back earlier on in May. And then sell side liquidity was holding. We are popping that sell side liquidity. Now, I reckon we've got a benchmark around 40-ish on this, maybe. Let's see what we've got. Most recent swings down. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're right in a benchmark right now. The higher of that benchmark is 35. I'll just bring that down and try and find out where benchmark 2 is. That will be a big gap if you get it. 42. So it's a 42 at the moment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do it today, Nolly, but there definitely is a gap there. But we've got to get above that benchmark first. Let's have a look at the... let's just drop that down a sec, see what it looks like on a smaller time. Yeah, there's not too much there. It literally... I'd say I'd like to buy 26, but we're already up at 31, so we could be pushing already. The most recent one is going to be the pre-market, which is this low to this No, I'm gonna. That's the switch on it. That's all. This. So back to this 28, 26 area would be ideal. Else you are just trying to play that gap with chase right now. But let's see what the open does. If we get that pop down before we get the run up, that would be nice to see. That's DYN.
Whoa, an interesting one by Great Scott. FFIE, Faraday Intelligent Electric Vehicles. And this one looks like a short squeeze to me for sure. And this is one that was shorted big. It was in SPAC, back in the SPAC days. And if you guys didn't see this car, it's pretty interesting, the car itself. I mean, don't get me wrong. It has like I think it's like 42-inch screen TV in it. So like it would be interesting because you could lay back, it drives itself, but I think it was way too far in the future. They gave it to you, Faraday Future Intelligence. We're not there in the future just yet. So we'll see what happens with this one. I'm going to see if there's any news out on it specifically and why it's popping like this, but definitely something to keep a watch on. This is the type of stock that could get a short squeeze. It was definitely bet against by many. So it looks like they announced their fourth quarter earnings. And that's not going too bad for them. But overall, I mean, this company is very struggling, guys. Just to put it in perspective, it only has 6.71 million, total assets of 579, long-term debts at 95. And then when you look at the gross margins, that's when you really get scared. They're like in the thousands and the negatives. So definitely, I don't see this company coming back anytime soon. But can that mean it's squeeze? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it looked like happened on Friday. We'll see if it joins the party again.
Seems like there's anticipation due to the fact that they've delayed their kind of 10Q quarterly update by the looks of it to me. Whether the market's taking that as a delay as they've got something, better to share or not, I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing great news-wise coming out of that space.
We'll see what happens, guys. Definitely hit that subscribe if you're new to the show. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe, hit that like, and tell everybody. The share button is the number one way that you guys can help us continue to grow. Let other traders know. This is where you guys want to hang out. It's free. You guys can watch us on YouTube, Twitter, and more. Hit that like. Let's keep it going. All right, guys. It's what do we got? 9:28, 2 minutes towards the bell here. I don't know about you guys. I'm excited to keep it going. Had a day off or two, and I'm ready to trade some action today. We'll see what we find, and it's going to be an interesting one. Definitely still watching GME. We'll see if that starts to make a move out the gates. Something tells me that maybe it wasn't Roaring Kitty that GME was waiting for. Maybe it was Money Mitch. Find out. Only one way.
I think it is where it came from, though, isn't it, GME right now? You think it can work it out of there?
Yeah, one of the things is that I like after a sleepy day, right? So like the first day of down action, you got it on Wednesday, really, right? Tuesday, you could kind of call that down action, but the ending price was kind of towards the upside there. So then on Wednesday, it really kind of started declining. Then Thursday declined. It Friday kind of just went sideways. And that tells me something that I can look for maybe above that gap to see if we really start to push. So I would look for me, it needs to show me that it really wants to go. So not even a 24 push. I'm going to look for more like a 25 to 26 push. If it makes a nice little $4, $5, $6 push, that could tell me that buyers might want to step back in. We'll find out. Definitely it's on the radar. And there's a lot of stocks out here that are going to be pulling back and giving us an opportunity. We'll see what happens.
Gotcha.
Boogie woogie, baby. Let's get after it.
Right, well, we got 20 minutes till the open here, I think. We are ready to go.
All right, 20 seconds, not 20 minutes.
20 seconds, yeah.
Let's do it, guys. It's about to be it. You guys know what time it is. It's time to get after it. Let's do it, guys. It's time. I don't know about you guys. That gets me excited every time. Let's go. We're in the ring. Let's get after it, team. Let's see what we can find today. All right. First one up that was like on the scanner. I'm sure that GTBP pulling back here out the gates. Let me see it. That's an interesting one up there, bunching up there off that 850. 3 bunches in that 850 range. So definitely an interesting range to see it reject. And this keep coming down. This is the type of stock that could fade away. It's had a great run already. And that's one thing that I always like to know. All right. Let's see if we can go up to the one.
These traded off, halted off the open as well.
Nice. Kick it to you. MTC. That one's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, straight in the buy side and halted off that. It just, really slammed in the open. I mean, everything does, but MTC was really up there. So that's we'll keep an eye on that. That could be a good gap all its way up to 14. Let's see what that's got on it.
One making a nice move this morning. Hims and hers. I'm sure you've seen those commercials. Anybody losing their hair? Tupperware and Hims.
All right, GTBP.
We're going to save our hair and save our food. What do we got out there? ASTS.
Okay,
I saw that,
for that GTBP on the tape.
I know AT&T had made a nice move into that ASTS. Another SPAC. SPACs are bad, man. ASTS. And Hims is a SPAC too. Look at that. Nice little move on the hourly. Big push up there on Hims. Don't lose your hair now. Nvidia with a nice little push pull back here. I'm just looking at the scanner, guys. Trying to see what's standing out to me. Norwegian Cruise Line. Uh-oh. Who's going on a cruise? I know I want to. The boats are nearby here. Port Canaveral. We're going to have to get Scott on a cruise. Get him across the pond. CCL, nice.
Yeah, is that where the Port Canaveral?
Yeah, right near Port Canaveral. So I'm by the space rockets. So you guys hear launches. I can take a picture for you guys. A little video action. All right, cruise line's doing well, and that tells me that maybe leisure somewhere to kind of watch. And that's interesting because oil has been making a move, right? So oil with a big old pullback here out the gates, that's actually going to give us an opportunity to look for some pullbacks here. I have been looking for a pullback in Valero. I needed to come back towards 163 though, so I need a little bit further. I'll keep an eye out for it. Coming to you, Scott. What are you seeing out there? Scott, you freeze up on me? I think you might have. Oh, there you are. They're just a little fuzzy. That's it. Dell is gone. Yeah, I know how it goes, Noli. Yeah. Dell is a crazy one, man. That thing just makes fast moves. Careful with the spread out there on Dell, but really nice pop there. No worries. We'll get Scott back, guys. He's trying to fix it right there. GME showing up. Scott's looking at it. I'm looking at it. There's GME. See if it gets hot today. Like I mentioned, I want to see a big spike first. So I'm just going to kind of watch it, keep it on the radar, guys. Hims still pushing, still strong. Looking around, guys, trying to find what is making a move here this morning. And if I look at the scanners and technology leading, cyclicals, and then industrials, downside, utilities, healthcare, and defensive names to the downside. Pretty strong there on the downside for kind of defensive names. So PG getting whacked. Colgate Palmolive definitely on the radar. These stocks look interesting for a little bit of a pullback action. They've been hot as of late and could start to break here. So we'll see what happens here. Estee Lauder. Estee Slaughter. Let me go ahead and put it up here. Keeping an eye on it. Maybe trading day from the cruise. Yes, we gotta set that up. GameStop, game over. Estee Lauder, Estee Slaughter. looking for some of these to come back. I don't mind taking a shot on some of these to the short side. They are really getting hit here. Clorox, PG, those types of names. Confectioners also coming down a little bit here. Coke, I know, had been hot lately. Maybe this starts to make a little bit of a pullback. Yeah, this looks like a little bit of a pullback time here for Coke. Look for a little bit of a pushback, and then I'm going to look to jump in on some of these. I don't mind it. Costco pulling back a little bit. It's Target. There it is. Let's see if we can get Colgate Palmolive. I don't mind it. It just needed to come back a little bit here. So if it comes back towards like 94.15, I could take a shot there. Above the 94s, I like it to the short side. All right, looking around, team. Trying to find some moves. Mara, downside action in Mara here. Pretty significant there. So I'm going to look for a short maybe in these kind of minor plays. Riot also taking a big hit there. MSTR. It's a big name right there. How's this thing been doing here? It's been hanging in. Hut. Hut. It's actually doing well. That's interesting. All right, looking around, let's go to technology names. Nvidia with a big spike up there. Microsoft, let's see how that's doing. That's a nice little spike. Apple, yeah, it's a strong day, at least to start there. The Q's giving a nice little rip to the upside. That's nice outlook there. AMAT, one that I'll definitely watch there. Intuit could make a nice little move. What about INTC? What about Intel? Been keeping an eye on this because I feel like it's going to start making its way back into the gap zone. So this is a nice swing trade opportunity for this to start to fill and make a move back above 3250s today. So I like this outlook here. I'm going to actually take a shot on this one here. Intel, let's see if we can get it here. All right, guys, just grabbed 50 shares there of Intel at 3190s. There you guys see it, long 3195s. All right, willing to take another shot there. Trying to get this back above 32s. 32s is going to be vital. Going to get this, try to get this so I can draw it out completely for you guys. What I'm seeing right here, it's kind of holding this pullback action. I kind of like that now. You can use that 77 as the risk and look for this to get back above the 3250s. Daily outlook too. This is kind of more of that swing. We'll see what happens there on INTC. Took a little bit of a shot there already, guys. Looking for some more trades out there. If you guys have any names, throw them up. FFIE, of course, is that type of name where you got to be careful out there, guys. That thing's going to move fast, up and down. So we'll see what happens. There's a little spike above 2, now back below 2. Let's see if it catches the VWAP and comes right back up through to that 230. GME staying hot now, 2280s. So this is one that I'll keep a watch, but I'm not going to kind of focus it. I'm just going to watch it as it keeps pushing along. Top pull back out the gates. Let's go to that other GTBP one. This is one that's on the radar. It's been holding in there, kind of buying, getting some buy, but then could flush down here. So just be careful out there, team. This is definitely trying to kind of bunch up here. Let's see if it can make another attempt to the upside. A lot of struggles in that 815. So you can see up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. Could try to get this last support. If this breaks later, 724, definitely going to be looking to short it. But for right now, it's holding in there. Could make an attempt to 875. What's up, Scott?
We're back with on the backup. We're on the Starlink now, so hopefully we're all good.
Yeah, I know. We're on the cruise, right?
I jumped straight on board.
I told you,
and
man.
left the port there.
You got too close to the Wi-Fi where I was. You got to go to the other side of the ship, Scott. Let's get after it, guys. GTBP now back towards the 8. This is going to be an important level to watch. I think this is one that maybe does like an 850 spike, but it's hard for me to think that it goes through 9. So do with it as you please, guys. We'll see what happens. GTBP definitely on the radar. I'm new to intraday trading and the palms of my hands is sweating. Well, Dana, that means that welcome to the trading action. It ain't easy. And the sweat tells you something. It might tell you you're feeling a little pressure, right? A lot of emotions in trading. Let's try to find things to help us stay what? Objective, not subjective. Get after it. And don't worry, it happens to the best of us. I'll let you know when my hands are a little clammy. Happens to the best of us for sure. I mean, I remember when I first started trading, I'd be like, oh man, these stocks are moving fast. There's the 8. There it is, guys. 820s, 817. Let's see if GTBP wants to go towards that 850. That's where it made sense for me, but I didn't know if I wanted to just play it towards just that. So you can see how I ran into a wall there. There's definitely a little wall here where it keeps fighting. You can see the wicks, the selling pressure right there. Can it close above that 820s towards that 850s? I think this is pretty vital right now. We'll see what happens on that GTBP. All right, there's a couple other ones that I want to run through here. So I'm looking through them, trying to find what is making a nice move there. Wicks continued. That didn't look too bad. Norwegian on the pullback.
GCBP on the tape right now.
There it is. There's that 860s, 870s, 850s starting to struggle right there. But I think, it has some gas now. Look at that. Boom. Is that the halt? There it is. I kind of like this little bunch up right here. This told us right here that they were trying to take some shots there. But there was definitely some struggle right there through that 820s. When it went through there, it was like butter. Look at the MACD crossover here. Boom. There you guys have it. Smash the like if you guys are enjoying the action. We try our best also to teach you guys some things. Take a look at indicators, things like that as we get through our action. Trade with the real money, the real trading account. Bring your A game. We got the rest covered. Let's get after it, Scott.
NKGN was taking some money flow, but then switched on a dime straight over to GTBP. So it did try and work its way out of that buy side. Then that tape stopped. So I'm listening out for that again now because we are in the moving averages. And where is the VWAP? The VWAP's up there as a target now. So that could be quite nice. Let's have a look at the 1 minute. And we would need this buy side pull, the most recent one, to hold. So exactly where it is now, not below 130 ideally. We don't really want it to get down to 120s. We'll just listen up for that tape to see if it comes back in whilst GTBP is halted, which literally just works its way out VWAP and the buy side liquidity pool, and that's why we hit the tape right there above that sell side liquidity pool. So now let's see if we can break that 9 and get up there and really get some momentum going. If we get above that benchmark 2 and close above, how many times we've been in there? Twice. This will be the third attempt at that 9 level this morning. So we'll see what we've got when they open up. But for the minute, just keeping an eye on NKGN, see if we can't get some more volume out of that area. How is Wix doing? Wix is pushing up consistently, bounce off the VWAP there and a reclaim. So that's on the way up still. And SISI, no interest in SISI right now. And TUP, we did take a look at that. So TUP's bang into the backside of the benchmark and run off. Let's see where that's run into. So straight into the sell side just before the open. And sell side again now. So that is a short unless we can get above 249 on this for TUP. Remember, we've already been up there. It's kind of backside play. There's one level above, I think. Yeah, there is a 280 up there, but it needs some volume to get up there now on TUP.
All right, guys, I'm setting up for orders out for Valero. I just put out 3 orders. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But for right now, just trying to work it, guys. I'll let you guys know how that develops. All right, and I still got, of course, Intel to the long side. That's actually looking good. It's just hanging out here at the 31.96. I think I'm going to go ahead and add to it now and just look to see if it can get into the 32s. Taking my shot there, just added there now. Can set a stop right underneath it towards, let's do the 31.80 and then just let this work. Do 79 to give myself 1 cent there. Set this up. Boom, boom. All right, orders set there. You guys see the orders going through. Everything shown for you guys. Let's get after it. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm still looking for those Valero fills. They're towards 162. I talked about 50% retracement. That's what I'm looking for here, guys. We'll see if we start to get some fills. I'm going to go into it very slowly with Valero. All right, looking around, how did GME turned around there? And that's kind of what I was a little bit concerned about. It's a little bit trapped, so just be careful out there. It's still trappy out there. GTBP, did that open up yet? Nope, not yet. HIMS, look at that. HIMS pushing strong. Norwegian pulling back here. Opportunity off that 1650s. Let me look at the daily chart. Daily chart, just kind of hanging in there right now. Not doing too much. How's American Airlines? Not doing that great. I'm a little upset at Frontier, man. Frontier canceled my wife's flight. She was going to Florida, so Frontier. Yeah, I'm sick of these flights, man. It just seems like over here in the States, it doesn't matter what is going on. They can cancel your flight whenever they want, just because they want to. Doesn't even need to be for weather.
It's the same all over, mate. It's the same all over.
It's crazy, man. There's no regulatory that actually could step in there and just be like, hey, can you just treat these people like normal people?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, that's all that matters, right? I mean, in the old days when they used to cancel flight, they used to like accommodate you, get you hotels, get you things, right? Well, that doesn't happen no more.
No, you're lucky if you get a meal voucher.
Yeah, you're lucky. All right, looking around, guys, trying to find some more plays out here. It definitely did a little bit of a slowdown. Tech is something that I'm watching. The Qs, right? It's starting to pull back a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. Overall, still a good action. Now I'm looking for pullbacks for opportunities to join the party.
GTBP unhalted, resumed, and then halted again, straight
downside,
down
man.
Literally.
That is just. This is literally just as bad as it gets. That is just as bad as it gets. That is hard to go through that, man. Wow. That is incredible.
You know what I've missed here, right? Is that bad boy there. Benchmark 2 play. That comes in bang on time, I reckon, isn't it? It's, yeah. Never mind. It's all good. It looks super hot coming out of there. You would not, you would not have anticipated that was going to, after the first halt up, that was going to slam down like that. But you know,
no, I don't think anybody could. Literally, I don't think that anybody could. Like that. That's such a run into a wall. Normally, when a stock halts on the upside, we at least get an open higher than the halting price. Yeah, this halted at like 875. And then it opened at 838, Scott. That is tough.
Yeah.
That is tough. Like, let's say if you got 1,000 shares, really quickly, you're looking back and being like, man, what just happened in GTBP? This is why I always talk about these smaller plays. I go after them. But you guys aren't going to see me throw 10,000 shares at them. Very rare in that situation. I'm just going to try to stick to just nailing them in, nailing them out, and trying to always keep risk in mind.
10H also halted to the upside this time and did not make it. It's above benchmark 2. Didn't make it down to that 104 area for a push down for a dip buy on 10H. But yeah, definitely busted its pre-market highs here. Short, so I think we'll look at 150. Depends where the mod goes now. They've both been on 10H and GTBP, so we'll see what happens. I think they're almost 46 and 47, so they're going to be a minute apart from resuming together, those two.
All right, guys, Intel's just been working really well. I'm going to add here, guys. I'm taking a shot here on Intel. Let's go ahead. Let's take a little bit of a shot. Just broke 32. Now I got 200 shares, 31.98. It's going to try to let this start to work. Pullbacks at 31.92s can hold, and I'm looking off the 31.80s really as the risk here. I like the little prop up, sideways action, going after it. TANH. Seems like Scott's got on the radar. Not bad. Household personal products. All right. My Valero dip buys, have they hit yet? No. Missed this dip buy. I thought I'd get this one at least. Went really close to my dip buy there, guys. Let's see if I start to get some dip buys in Valero.
Looks like the mob shifting to NKGM, working its way out of that buy side. Just taking a starter on that.
All right, I like that. That looks interesting there. Scott, shout out to you, man. Interesting name there on that NKGN.
Just looking to see if we've got that buy side any lower, that sell side any lower. Now we've made that new low. Just follow that down. Let's see if we're going to run into VWAP somewhere here. Yeah, we just have. All right, so yeah, we need to get above this VWAP. So it might be an add if we come back down to kind of 135 to try and get up there to 170s. Let's see how many shorts come in at the VWAP.
Looking around for some of these smaller plays to see what stands out to me, guys. I'll let you know. NVCR, interesting. Biotech. One that stood out to me, STRO. It just showed up on the scanners here. It went up to 5. Now it's pulled back to the 440s. Doesn't look too bad there. Intel starting to work for me now towards 3205. Is going to let this start to work, guys. Hourly chart looks interesting there for me too, to at least get up towards the 32 kind of like 25 area. Once we get towards 3230s, I can take some off and then just let the remainder work for the day. That seems like it's looking good. And now just need to let the market work for me, as I always talk about. Intel long at 3204. Hey, futures day trader. Well, I hope you get that last part of your name, that billionaire part. Let's get after it. All right. Ooh, alerts going off in my ears. So that tells me something. Let me see what's going on out there. Oh, that's GTBP. Wouldn't you know it? Man, that thing was fast there. It's now down to 698s and down there. It opened up at the 750s. It's coming down pretty fast, but this is one that I'm probably stay away from because of the weird action on the upside, right? Like I could short into a name like this, but it could also go right back to that 880 level and then stop me out. So I'm going to stay away from GTBP. As much as I want to short this, I'm going to stay away. Trust me, I want to. I'm itching over here.
Yeah, you'd be thinking that just cleared out a bunch of stops. Anyone that's in there now, just 2 halts, just going to want out of that.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
my
sweat the
thing.
lows, right?
That's my thing, right? Yeah, traders get to that point where even if they were in it, they get creeped out like I do, right? I mean, all right, here's a nice little push here on Intel now to 3211s, looking for like kind of 3225, 3230s for the first profits. Let's see if this can continue to climb. Not looking too bad right now. Short Nvidia, FA, you are brave, my friend. Power to you. Maytar, you looking at Nvidia? You looking upside? I always think it's interesting when we get messages like this, Scott, where we get an upside outlook, probably a short outlook, and they're right next to each other. What does that tell me? Well, hey, trader's going to trade, guys. And there's a lot of ways that the market can go, right? Long, short, even in between. And you guys see it there. There's always someone taking the other side. That's why I always seem to kind of support it. You guys ever want to go short some of the names that I'm looking at, I'll never be mad at you. All right, let's see if we can get some of these 3230s. Let's just put out 3230s for right now, for half of the order, half of the size. Let's see if it gets up there and just does a little bit of quick spike. All right, looking around, that's working well for me, so I can go elsewhere. Let's go to Valero. I've been waiting to see if I get dip buys. I did not get the dip buys, and boy, was I close to getting my first dip buy. This went to 62.85. I have an order out at 62.80s. So that's just how it goes sometimes, guys. Was looking for hourly pullbacks, 50% retracement of the recent move. I'll continue to look for that. I'm going to cancel the Valero buys right now because I just didn't get filled. But we'll see what happens a little bit later in that one.
Multi-Metaverse Holdings, MMV, is taking some tape flow here. Just trying to see it run up on Friday post-market. It's in that zone. Let's have a look. Pre-market high, pre-market low. If it's going to go any higher, it's got to get above that 150 level. Just tapping sell side on the first level right now. So yeah, that was just quite hot on the tape. Let's see what we've got. Still on the tape, actually.
Mara trying to do a recovery here, guys. This is where it gets interesting. We'll see if it's just to buy the dip and then it starts to rip.
Nolly's saying Snap's looking strong. Indeed, it is. Oh, whoa. Big sell side.
Yeah, on Snap, I always look at Pinterest. Like literally as soon as you mention Snap, I'm clicking in Pinterest. PINS. Why? Because they it's like the algos take control in that. You see, very similar. Very rare will you ever see Snap down and Pinterest down also. Or not down. Like it's always just how it goes, right? So Snap's moving up. I look at Pinterest to see if maybe there's some lag. Or maybe it's Pinterest leading and Snap lagging. That happens all the time too. So PINS also on the radar, trying to break through the 43s. And then I also look at the daily chart sometimes. PINS daily chart looks good for a 43 break. And I look at Snap and it looks good for a 17 break. So very similar charts actually. Trying to get through a resistance, trying to break through. Intel looking great here, guys. Now up there to 32.20s. Could take some profit right here. I'm going to look for a little bit more. I have the order out already at 32.30s. I could see this maybe getting into 32.50s on the day. And this is kind of more of that swing mentality in my mind, but I don't mind taking some profits in the day, right? HIMS now up to 18.10. This has just been climbing the whole time. What you got for me, Scott? How's the market looking?
Just the market. Let's have a look at the NQ. Yeah, still pushing higher. It was that beautiful tap in to that 640 level there. Just sitting there, just on the open, and then the push off of there. Sell side just being cracked at the moment. I think this has probably got the legs to get up to there to 760 on the momentum play, but that's a massive chase now on anything on the Qs or the NQs, but it looks like it's got the volume to get there. Still looking at NKGN. So that did take a dip down off of that VWAP. So we're going to be there again, I believe. Yep, still knocking our head on that VWAP. Did come back down to that buy side again, the new one. And now it's just a case of if I can break above this 155 area VWAP that we might get that push up to 170 where I'd look to get out of it. All
right, going to look for one push on PG. Procter & Gamble looking at shorting potentially consumer defensive today. As you can see, it's down and it's starting to break. This is an area that I've been calling out from the beginning in the morning. I'm looking to see what happens now. Colgate-Palmolive, another one that I'm looking at potentially to short. PG is definitely on the radar. I would like to see a spike to 167.20 right there where the VWAP, that little dotted line. Give me a little spike into there, reject this kind of 67.30s, then come crashing down. All right, let's go. Intel. Got up there towards 32.23s. Gonna cancel the sell order right now on Intel. Gonna let it work. Still have to stop out there at 31.79. It's looking good. It's not looking too bad, so I just want to continue to let it work. Okay, let's go back to PG. for one more spike to get this nice little short on. What else is making moves out there, team? I'm looking around trying to see what is a big mover out there. Nvidia, I know that it was talked about in the chat. I can see it fighting that 950, We'll see if it actually makes a move above that. But yeah, it's a hard one, man. And tech has been going straight up from the open. So maybe we get a little bit of some pullback. We'll see what happens here. How's Zoom doing? I'm watching that one. I know it has earnings today. PanW also, right? So keep that on the radar. PanW is pulling back today. Reddit is weak. I did see that. But it's already done the move a little bit for me. Like, I can't chase this. I like to short off that dotted line, and I can't do it right now. It's just never come back. Hims up there to 1816 has been really strong, man. How did what was that healthcare stock that was really strong? I'm losing it right now. What was the name? Drug manufacturer. It's a big boy. How are these drug manufacturers? AbbVie coming down, big. Amgen coming down, Pfizer coming down. These have really started to break here. What was the name?
What is it? What do you call it? Like what's the
I don't know why it's slipping from me. One of those days, man.
I was trying to help you out.
I think everybody's slipping.
Drew a blank.
The chat will get us. The chat will get us. So what was the stock that was breaking big last week? Healthcare stock, then turned back around. NVAX. Come on, Mitch. Come on, money, Mitch. Come on. The brain's still, it's getting there, guys. It's getting there.
I just covered. Sorry, man. I just interrupted. I've just covered NKGN.
Oh,
straight up there into that 170. So out of that, at the tap in there at kind of 174-ish, maybe a bit. Or maybe I got a bit of slippage there. Maybe 168. But yeah, that was the play. Anyway, it could go higher if we break that 190 level. Could go up there and have a double top or anything else it likes. But that was my play from the buy side to the sell side. So that's NKGN done for the moment. Sorry, Mitch, back to you.
No, you're good. I'm just taking a look at this because it's gone sleepy, right? And it had a couple days. Look at the volume drop off. That was a quick drop off in volume. So let's see what happens with this one overall. I'm definitely just keeping it on the radar. Right now, it's just stuck in the middle. So I don't want to play pig. I want to play either bull or bear. So we'll see what happens there with the NVAX. All right, Intel with a nice little pullback there. Maybe could have sold at 32.20s, but I'm just going to look for it to hold 32 on pullback right now. That's exactly where I'm at, 31.98. So just hold, if it holds 32 and makes that next push, I'm looking good. We'll see what happens.
GTBP not letting go of it quite as fast as I thought it might do, to be honest. It works its way back in there, but I literally thought we was going to see a dump down to the 60s on that one, given it was a halt up, halt down twice.
Yeah, that one's a hard one to go after. Like, I'm telling you, Scott, I'm itching to short that, but it's also so fast, and then in the moment it's halted up to 8, right? Or could have halted down to 6. So just be careful out there, team.
A little alert on there for it, just in case. So MTC is over now. It didn't make it up there to the sell side. MTC is pretty done. TANH is still going for it. What is going? Makes me laugh. My scanner saying TANH. TANH.
AMD pull back to 166. Really nice level here.
TANH looking for sell side. Just right here, about 140, but it has had the mob on it all morning, pushing it up here. Let's see if we can do anything above 150. Sorry, Mitch, AMD.
Yeah, you're good, man. I'm just looking at this as a pullback opportunity, right? And we talked about, would we look for some pullback opportunities? I like the 166 entry here off 165.90s. Just would like to do it one more time. So you see how it wicked here, wick there, wick one more time to 166. I'll take a shot. So 2 wicks off that, like kind of double bottom, Looking for a triple bottom, baby. Here's that 166.05s. All right, I'm going to take the starter there just because it did hit 166, but it was just off the bid. All right, here's 166 coming up here. Still hasn't broken it, so I'm just trying to get in, add another 25 shares here. I'm only coming in at 25 shares. I want to get to 100. Okay, it just bounced there a couple times there off this 166 level, so I just added one more time there, 25. It's looking good there. It just needs to now start making its move to 166.25s. All right, just in case I get to the 75, I'm at the 75 ready to go on the sell side, but I'm about to add another 25 in a second here if it can hold 166 on downside. Here it comes on the pullback. Now going to look for it to start working its way back and then holding that 165.90s. So
how
now
quickly?
Go ahead.
How quickly do you need those 3 taps, Mitch?
So usually it's going to be depending on the time frame that I'm in, right? The big thing is that the 5 and the 1 look very similar in this case. So I'll show you right now. So the 1, triple bottom look, right? 5, moving average look. EMA, right? Pull back off of a big candle, pull back, holding that trend line break off of a long term. So it's kind of like a throwback look on the longer term. And on the 1 minute, it's a triple bottom off that kind of bottoming action. So that's just what I go off of sometimes, and try not to complicate things, at least for myself sometimes. If I see it on multiple time frames, I can come after it.
Gotcha.
Now I got the 75. I got 166.12s. So now I just want to see it take 166.20s, and then I can hold off kind of this 165.90s here. Doing an attempt to the downside here. Have my hand on the trigger to get out. And sometimes you guys will see me doing what I'm doing right now. Literally the hands pressed on place to order. Just need to see it recover here on the 1 minute. I'm going to give it this 1 minute to kind of decipher out here if it needs to recover immediately here. There's some of that recovery. Now I don't want it to take out the low. Back above 166, I'm going to set the stop at that 165.66 where it tried to stop. See if it starts to make that recovery push. Intel, nice push there in Intel. That's actually a good sign there for me. These tech names. There you go, 166 recovered. Now 166.06 here. At this point, I can go ahead and set the stop. 165.60. Stop place, stop out there. Okay, perfect. Now I can go watch Intel. If it stops me out, it's okay, guys. And one thing is for certain, you got to get to a point where you set your risk, and whatever happens is whatever happens, right? At that point, through that 165.60s, I want out. I don't want to be in this name at that point. We'll see what happens here. Let's go to Intel at 32.20s. Looking to take some profits towards 32.30s. Let's see if we can get that run. All right, how's the penny land going out there?
I was looking at 10H, but I'm not sure. See, this is where you got to weigh up. NKGN, I had room, right? I had 10 cents clear, no problem. The time it was going to take to get there on NKGN wasn't going to be in 1 minute, right? I was looking for it to work out down here at 140s up to 170s. So all rules right, correct and met. Whereas I'm looking at TAN H now. And obviously with it being a kind of a dollar stock, literally, it was not a dollar stock this morning. Now it is a dollar stock. And just trying to work out, I think this flush is going to happen in under 60 seconds if it happens. I do have room down here to like $1. I have 20 cents in this play. But if that's going to flush and it happens that quick, then I can't get out of the play, right? It's not going to register. I've got to hold it for a minute. So let's see what happens here. I'm just curious to see, because I wanted to short that literally on this very bar. Okay, so I would have been good. So now if I get the flush down to 107, that would still be a good trade because it's been running for a minute and I would have 20 cents on it if I hit the target. What I couldn't do is hit it at 135 and take it off at 127, right? That's you've got to wait for that room. You've got to have that room. So you need to bear that in mind with these small cap stocks.
Out AMD could still come back. Took a little bit of a hit there, down about 44. So we'll see what happens now. With Intel, I'm pretty much break even for the day. So let's see if we can get some nice profits back, get back into the green. Battle's on, guys. That's what it's all about here.
MMV's on, MMV. Why haven't I got MMV in my watch? I thought I looked at that. Okay, yeah, we have looked at it. It's breaking sell side. It's breaking sell side on the tape. That's why it's being alerted to me. So what else have we got above here? Let's get rid of these VWAPs. Let's see what we've got on higher time frame. All right, so coming back to April. All right, so 215-ish, something like 210, $2 to 215, let's say. The bogey level, smack in the middle there, thereabouts. So let's see if they can continue this push up to $2. All right. Oh, benchmark, my bad. Okay, so let's see if we get a run up now. So we get a real hard run up and then a pause. Then we should have something. And let's see, we'll be waiting for that pull back to that first sell side liquidity pull if we can get it. Put MMV on watch. Okay, just checking out a couple of the others. I like to go back and because, like I said on previous streams, I do play these longs and shorts on day one. A lot of it's for kind of entertainment purposes for you guys. A lot of it's because if they're a benchmark play and it holds sell side, that's because it's my textbook play. But I much prefer my textbook play on a day two. So I like to kind of look back, and we was watching these last week. So A-win, no, it looks like it's got resting liquidity there. So nothing, don't really want to get into shorting that once it's in a resting liquidity pool. So it just goes sideways or push up to retest the highs on that. So no interest there. CTNT, we missed, didn't we? The small, oh, mind you saying that, look at that. That is literally, so the sell I was waiting for was up here, this area. That's come down, but it has held and double bottomed into buy side liquidity at the 200 moving average. Have a quick look at the VWAP on that. But just reclaiming VWAP now as we speak. So it'll be interesting to see if we've now got a push from 11 up to 1270 on CTNT. If not, when we reclaim VWAP down to the backside, now let's have a look. Was that a pinpoint? Yep, that was good. So the next one we've got buy side if we're going to come down. And this is the difference between like my confirmation of what I class as, yes, the stock's still in play. Is it still in play to the upside whilst all the buy side liquidity pools are holding, which right now they are. The first sell side liquidity pool now is up here, and there is potentially a play there. So if we close below VWAP at this point, doesn't necessarily mean the short's on for me. I'd need it to close below 180 and break that first buy side liquidity pool to prove to me that that it's no longer grabbing buy side on the bid. So we'll see what it's got. But I think there might be a little push here on CTNT.
All right, looking around, team. If you guys got a big mover or something you want to bring up, by all means, drop it in the chat. GTBP just hanging out there, rejected that 724 multiple times, man. That thing's just hanging out here at the 695s. It's interesting to me, guys. It's just hard to short, like like Scott said, day one movers are hard. The one thing I could see on this though is definitely rejection of that 880 area. That's the struggle area. But then there's a support here off that 7 area that could be kind of build some support there. So we'll see what happens there. It's definitely hanging out. GTBP. And then FFIE was one that was mentioned earlier today. That one's pulled back to 173. We'll see what happens there. What's going on in LI? Earnings destroying that. And I think the one thing that I mentioned before the gates is that these stocks have tariffs that are starting to get stronger and stronger, and these EVs from China are going to have that struggle. Tesla pulling back also today. That's not going to help, right? When all EVs are going down, be careful out there, team. Looking around, Boeing is on the move. Yeah, Boeing. Yeah, that is on the move. It's a nice little push there. How's PG do? There it is. It came back here. Now I can go ahead and go for the short off the 167.30s here if I want to go and get after it for the short side for defensives. And this actually stands out to me. Let's try to get this. All right, just grabbed a little bit there, guys. Short some PG, 100 shares there. So this is kind of the trade that I was looking at. Come back to this kind of VWAP, tried to break back to the upside, and then come right back towards 166.90s with a cut down through it. That's what I'm looking at. So it's like 20, we got like 30 cents to the downside. You can risk about 10 cents here. All right, let's go back to Intel here. How's that working? That's still working pretty decent there. Looking around, team. CGC is another one that's on the radar for potential short. I actually like this now. We'll let it spike here. I'm going to look for like 1035s. If I could get 1035s here, I'm definitely going to try to come after this one. Yeah, you can put out the order there. 1035 short. Limits out there to just get a little bit of a pop fill, then risk off this kind of 1045. Trying to get short on some CGC, some canopy growth.
MMV taking the money flow now. Let's see what we've got. What is going on, MMV? Yeah, there it goes. Close above that 150 and it's off to the races. $2, 210. Put a little marker up there, little alert. See what we get up there at 2s.
Oof, CGC just going down without me. We'll see what happens.
NKGN also on the tape. So that's coming back. See, that's the one that I was long earlier. It's taking another look at sell side liquidity there. So the most recent one, if I'm going to micro analyze this, is going to be right there. So it's got to break and close above 72 to push further up, perhaps to 189 or a double top. But that's an attempt there on the tape with volume to come out. If it fails, then we could see more downside. Okay.
All right, gonna look for PG now to reject, going into the 167.50 area. Smash the like out there, guys. Of course, we're battling here with you guys. Technology leading the way today, definitely leading the action. It's up about 0.66 from the open. Industrials, energy behind that. So energy did do a little bit of a pullback, and that pullback got bought up. Was trying to get into some Valero earlier, and maybe I get some Valero now. It's still on the pullback. XOM did come back, and some of these oil names did. So we'll see what happens with those.
MMV still on the tape. Oh, very close there. What was it? 196, 196 so far. Not quite hit the twos. Front running that a little bit. Okay, that's the backside of the bogey level. Would it acknowledge or close below? I'd much rather see that up there at the round number than 196, to be honest. See if we can push up to it. Yeah, we're going to get that, I think.
Okay, tells us hanging out, man. MMB, get it up there. GME with a fake out to the upside, so just be careful out there, guys. Tupperware not going anywhere. Next, showing up for me. That's at $8. It's an oil play.
All right, so here I've got a problem. Didn't I say, right, I'm going to have trouble with this TAN-H, right? TANTech Holdings. So I wanted that short, and like I said, I had the time. But when I got in the trade, it was slippage at 124, just only a few cents. But my target was because we put this swing in, my target became now kind of one. It needed to be 115. So it was literally all of a sudden, because of the new swing, my target now comes up, right? You can see everything is also here, the VWAP, the moving averages. So my target is no longer 105, it becomes 115. And I didn't quite tack it. So I'm still sitting in there. Otherwise, it's not going to be valid for me. So it's just a case of managing that and being aware of it. Yeah. So I knew before as it was coming down, unless it got to 114, I couldn't take the profit. It doesn't mean I need to let it turn into a loser, but it's certainly I didn't take the profit where I wanted to.
It's always about understanding that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to execute, and we got to get it right. Like always, we're going to make good moves, bad news. The biggest thing I think is important is learning from them. And I feel like too many traders sometimes we don't learn, right? That's the number one thing. We want to get better. That's the idea here too. Like I always talk about it, survival, then you'll get to the thriving stage later down. Let's keep getting after it, guys. TQQQ coming up with capital markets analytics. You looking at the short side of things? What's the TQQQ? That's the pro shares, right? Yeah. That's actually ultra pro. That's to the upside. That's the opposite of the SQQQ. That's been pushing. At least it's been climbing higher. Shout out to you on that TQQQ. Capital markets. Here you go. You're seeing it. It's pushing strong. Where are you looking at that capital markets? The Nuggets lost last night. I'm happy. Yeah, that was an interesting end. Boom. Boom, baby.
Well, I got it. But that was it. I knew where it was. It was there. It had to be there. Now it can go down to 105. It doesn't matter. But I needed that 11 cents. So I'm good. I'm all good on that. Nice.
There you go. Get after it, man.
All right. Where's MMV now? MMV's at $2. This is my benchmark. Zoom out a little bit. Get rid of those moving averages. Those VWAPs a sec. Okay, so it's right in there at the moment. Now, if this breaks and closes above, then it can have $4 on it because it was just double the formula that we've gone through. But if not, kind of seeing if we can get anything off 2. And ideally, I'd like to see a swing up here as opposed to just the price action. So we've already got a high in, we've already got a low in at 195. So we've just failed to break that 2 level. Oh, there you go. Too late now, man. But there you go. Yeah, there's the 10 cents right there. But yeah, not quick enough. But I would much. Sometimes that's how they happen on benchmark twos, but I would much rather be tracking that down and it taking a bit of a time to come across to then say, all right, now if we come back to 198.2, then I've got an opportunity. That was micro, that was like needed a tick chart to see that was even going to happen, really. But there it is. We'll see if we'll get another go on that. That's 195 at alert. If we get, it's gone. Oh, this cruise on the cruise ship.
Somebody flushed it.
Yeah.
You know, on the cruise ship, the toilets go the opposite way, right?
What, like they do in Australia?
Scott's like, what do you mean, man? Watch, it's gonna
do
be.
You mean the water washes down the other way? I've heard that about Australia. Man, I haven't heard it on cruise ships.
Yeah, you know, it just flows down the other way, you know? I'm going to get somebody calling me from Royal Caribbean being like, what are you talking about? Our toilet's flushing that way. Let's see what happens here, guys. Might get stopped out in PG. Looking at it right now, definitely don't want it past this 167.45. It should start coming back down here, at least from my perspective. It's on this 5 minute. You see this high right here, 167.41. Close above that on the 5. I'm gonna have to start getting out because it could go to this 167.50.
Futures day trader millionaire is saying he's in Orlando, and Mitch, he's specifically talking to you, Mitch. I want to get to see you one day. Well, listen, I'll come to Orlando.
We'll go to Mickey Mouse, Scott. We're going to Mickey, man. We're going to Disney, how they say in the Super Bowl, right? We got to make some good trades. Good trades.
We can't go to Disney without Tim. We cannot go without Tim. He would literally
yes,
not talk to us again.
Literally. Tim is going to be our tour guide. All right, but yeah, stay tuned, man. Future day trader, we'll figure this out, man. I'm going to try to put something together, like kind of a United States meetup. I know that a lot of people are all over the place that use Trade the Pool, but definitely look into it and reach out to us. Tell us that you want things like this, events like this. I will make them happen. That is for certain. I got no problem with spending some extra time with you guys and having some fun. That's what it's all about. Boogie Woogie, you coming? Yeah, and it's always important to have a couple of strategies up in your tool belt. I feel like some traders only have like one strategy. I feel like that can work, but that also can be a recipe for disaster.
What are you saying? What's wrong with one strategy?
It's like a mix, right? It could be great and it could also be bad. The key is, how patient are you with that strategy, right? Because the truth is, if you only trade one strategy, there might be days where you don't have a trade.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That is
like
absolutely true.
And I think that that's what a lot of traders struggle with. I'll tell you right now.
That's not a bad thing, though, is it?
It's just like mental trick, right? Like, you know, one of the things is, I always talk about it. There's an infinite amount of opportunities in the market, right? Infinite, like literally, like you can't put a number on it, guys.
Yeah.
And so with that mentality, sometimes traders get what? They get addicted to trading. I saw someone earlier mention something about this, right? That they were trying to cut down their trades. They were like, let's say at 100 trades and coming down to 50 trades and coming down to 20 trades. Why? Because they're trying to limit the opportunities that they're going for. If you swing at every pitch, the odds of you actually being in success probably very low, right? And so I think that this is the way that I think about it sometimes. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong in having one strategy, but you might need to be a little bit more patient with that entry, right? Some days it might not be taking a trade. Or if you have multiple strategies, You can find what's working in the market, and taking statistical data can help this. These are the types of things that I try to focus on. It's difficult because you actually have to do the hard work in tracking what's working, right? Is it VWAP bounces that are working? Is it Bollinger Band reversals? Is it, VWAP bounces to the upside? Are we playing off the ATR? Are we using the MACD? There's so many strategies out there. And this is why it's important to find what flavor you like out there that can work for you.
Yeah, exactly. If I looked at the VWAP every time, then I wouldn't take half the plays that I do take that can put you in the money, and vice versa. If I don't look at the VWAP, then I don't take profit off the table when I know there's sellers there, for example, or buyers there when I'm trying to short. But yeah, it's just having an idea of, though, like I say, with those moving averages that I look at, I know there's buyers there. Like 7 times out of 10, there's buyers at those moving averages. And if the VWAP combines with the buyers and I'm in short, then it's probably time to take some money off the table if I'm in short. It's being aware of what other traders are doing and what other strategies are out there.
I got you, Future. Keep coming after it, man. It's always about learning from our kind of experiences, and I wish you the best out there. That's for sure. All right, guys. Intel, nice little push there to 32.31s. Of course, we have this from, I got this from 31.98, 200 shares long. It's starting to look really great here. I'm looking for one more little push here towards like 32.40s, but I might take some profits here just to make sure that I kind of get profits and get back into the day, right? Get close to being break even and giving myself the shot to have a nice day. So important, guys. All right, let's see if we can get another little push here, and then I can sell some into that. I'm gonna put like 32s, 35s. If not, I'll just limit out or mark it out with the 100 shares. Whatever happened to AMD? Ooh, it's just starting to come back now. BGC short seems interesting to me, but I'm waiting on that one. NVCR showing up on the scanners. Oh, NCLH coming back here. Let me see where it's at.
Yeah, just missed MMP. Sorry, man.
Oh, you're good.
Just missed MMP. So
just missed it.
So it opened up, it resumed. It was coming back 191. I was there at 196 if it could get it, and it just didn't. Just turned around, and as expected, no one likes those. No one likes those halts when they're on the short side, and it's just got halted again. So yeah, I think I'll be lucky to get back up to those 190s again now, but we'll see. Where's the rest? So there's two kind of areas here that I'd look at to see where it could go to for a target if we do get up there. So it's going to be 150, and then resting for today, I would say, more or less the same, down to 120s for the whole move. That's the whole, yeah. That'd be good. Down there to the 120s. If I get 190s again, I'll have a pop at that. Sorry, Mitch.
No, you're good, my friend. I'm looking out there. I just put in a add order that PG is starting to turn downside, so I'm looking for pops to add. Intel's already pulling back a little bit here. Definitely wants to start holding kind of these 5-minute resistance, and it just did a bar above this, so it can pull back to this 32, even the 9 EMA. Don't want the 9 EMA to crack now. The 9 EMA cracks now, I will leave with the momentum, right? So I'm looking for this to kind of hold, make that next push. We'll see if it can continue doing that. So you see how the 9 EMA comes right to it. This happens often. I wanted to kind of, it's okay to underscoop with a wick. Just want some bodies to start showing up here towards the 32, 35s. PG, what's up with that one? Can I get the ad? You see how it turned around here now? I'm looking for an ad at like this 167.36 area. And then I'd hold off 167.40. CGC was one that I was looking for a little bit of a push towards 135 and then a turnaround to the downside. So we'll see what happens here. Can it do a little bit of a spike towards 140, 135 and then break down? Big part of this is MSOS still on the downside action. And this tells me that maybe I can come after this one. It's not a bad one to watch there. I'm actually set an alert here for an attempt towards 1038. That's something that I want to catch.
NKGN was quietly, not on the tape, but quietly creeping up here.
This is why. Right? Scott, go take a look. Go take a look, Scott. This is why. This is why I didn't short it, guys. I was scared about this move right here. The quick scoop to 8. Man, that was quick.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, man, that's danger stranger there. I'm glad I kind of stayed away from this one, guys. I know someone talked about the sweaty hands. Well, this was one of those that would have definitely had those hands sweaty, man, if I would have gone short. How do you guys build your watch list? That's a great question. We'll talk about that coming up. Smash the like. What you got, Scott?
No, I was just going to say that has not broken its pre-market highs yet. Again, that was another one that was the NKGN there. I had a couple of shouts, but there was nothing on this, and that must have had some volume. No, it's not huge. It's not huge volume on there. Dangerous, you say? Yeah.
Dangerous, my middle name.
So that guy's done is this one here. No, I think I do agree with you. To come out like that double bottom in there pushing up. Oh. Yeah, you wouldn't do it, right? If it wasn't for that benchmark sitting there for me, you wouldn't do it. Yeah. Let's see what it's got here.
All right, big level for Intel to hold now, 3220s. I wanted to start holding there. PG coming back to my entry here.
MMV on the tape must have just opened. So quick look. Oh, it's trying for. So it's opened up or pushing up on that. Let's see, 196. 196. Seriously. Come on, 196. 2, any of that.
All right, Intel now 132.29s. Looking for the push into 32.30s. What's going on out there, guys? Do you guys have a max loss and a target for the day? I have sometimes like a target for the week. I try my best not to have targets for the day. But do I have targets on, let's say, max loss on a trade, wins that I'm looking for? Yeah, I do have that. I talk about it in a ratio, right? 3-to-1 for me, guys. I want to make 3 times the money that I lose on that one trade, right? So let's say if I'm trying to get 30 cents on the reward, I should be risking about 10 cents, right? And I think that's important for me to try to stick to. Why? This keeps me from not having to worry about trade accuracy. For me, trade accuracy has to be somewhere between the 30s and 40%. If I can be 40% accurate with a 3-to-1 profit to loss ratio, guess what, guys? Money. So this is the important start of trying to find a mathematical advantage that you like, right? That works for you. Some people like 1-to-1 trades. Like they risk 30 cents to make 30 cents. That's okay too, but your accuracy level is going to have to be so high, right? So that's the one thing that I think it's important to kind of balance out. How accurate do you need to be to go after what you're going after, and what matches your personality? Some people like scalping. You guys don't see me scalping, right? And so that would be more of that kind of 1-to-1, maybe 2-to-1 outlook. Find what works for you guys. And that's the best way. Still waiting for the Nvidia breakdown. I think half the world, man. But we'll see what happens. Nvidia is just fighting that 950. That's going to be an important outlook. If it goes to 950, I think it'll help my Intel trade. So here's Intel. Let's see if we get that last little push. Take some profits now, man. I could see this on the daily chart getting towards that gap fill. Look at the gap fill here. So this is really what I'm looking at, guys, when I went to Intel. This is kind of my swing trade attempt. And I'd look off of this kind of 32 level. And I'd look for the volume to kind of follow. Look at the MACD on the bottom. So you see this on the bottom. You see how it's starting to turn and pivot. I kind of like to find these trades. And now I can kind of find the momentum play to go off of these. PG now going back into the green here. So we're going to continue to watch. I canceled the ad on PG, but we're in at 167.19s. Should be closer towards 167.30s or 167.40s in my eyes. Just being picky about the trade. That's just to tell you guys that I'm stuck in the middle a little bit. I don't like to be stuck in the middle. Hey, get after it. It's all about trying to find what works. And sometimes that takes time and experience. All right, 3230 starting to show up here on Intel. Can we get another little push here away from the 3230s? Get towards like 3235s. Take half off there and continue to work. There you go, 3233s. Some volume coming in. That looks like some sell pressure there. Let me see it on the tape here. There's a good add at 3225s. Some good sell pressure into the 35s. See if we can get through that on the next drive.
Well, I took the MMV. So I wanted that sell side to put it up there 96. It got there. It's not dropped how I like. So normally it flushes off these levels if it gets there quick. If it just tacks into them like this, do you know what I mean? It's halted down twice. It come back. If it doesn't flush, it kind of gives me an indicator that something's not quite right, because normally they're very quick off, especially after two halts down. So here now, this is not a case of I'm putting my stop at the high necessarily, although I will to make sure I'm covered. It's a case of whether the money comes back on the tape. If the tape starts to speed up again with bids, then I'm just going to cover the trade.
Whew. Big levels to watch on Nvidia. Nvidia is going to be, of course, the top earning stock of the week. We're going to be talking about it all week long leading into that. Look at Nvidia sideways here, trying to break through that 948, trying to get to that 950. How about we use the rule of three here to kind of give perspective? I'm not telling you guys to necessarily trade on this, more along giving you guys what I look at, right? I talk about this all the time. So you get that one drive up, right? Continues that drive, looking for pullbacks here. And you can use the one to kind of look for that drive. So there you had a nice drive here. And then you had starting to get that pullback action. So I'm looking for that to kind of balance in and then eventually consolidate for that next breakout. Right now, you're kind of in that battle. I think you can still get another pullback to that 946, but there's definitely been attempts here to try to break out through that 950s. Let's see what happens. In my perspective, I'm looking at it like this: a drive, pullback, drive, pullback, drive, one last pullback, followed by the rip through 950s. You can see there already starting to get some of that pullback. Let's see if it holds this 946 range and then really starts to create this kind of bottoming action in this area. This is where kind of a lot of times you'll see Scott kind of have that liquidity pull zone, right? I wonder where it is on Nvidia, but just kind of looking at it on the support on the tape. Interesting levels there in Nvidia. And I know that the traders in our chat are definitely watching that one.
GCBP. Is that flush off there? I wouldn't call it a flush, but it looks like it's down in the mid sevens.
Yeah, that one's a hard one, man. That's to say the least. Morrow is one that I'm keeping an eye on. It's just hanging out at VWAP, but has recovered a good amount on the day.
Yeah, GTBPs are definitely off that level now. That was quite nice. Like you say, I was with you. It was kind of debatable whether that was going to occur, but yeah, it's down. Actually, that's the previous, because the target on that would have been, yeah, right here. So that would have been, yeah, 8.15s down there to 7.30s. We can listen and see if it comes on the tape now, but I think I agree with you now. That's probably risk off for GTBP today.
All right, want to come after CGC now for the short side of things, but I would like to see it do an attempt to 1040s. So I'll kind of draw that out exactly what I'm looking at here. So stock has made a big decline out the gates, come back to the VWAP, kind of came out and faked some short side here, then popped like it was going to break out. Now it's turning around from that. So I would like to see it come back up to the 1040s. And then this is kind of what I call the later in the day short, where stock kind of hangs out. Day traders take off, and then eventually the algorithms kind of step in here and kind of maybe knock this back down towards that $10 spot. It's really a good range for me to look at. We'll see if I'm able to come after that. That'd be maybe like a 30 to 40 cents upside with a 10-cent risk. We'll see what happens, CGC. Got to go focus on Intel and still watch PG. PG is not doing the breakdown like I wanted to, and it's kind of holding on to the VWAP. So this is where I got to start being like protective on this position. So I'm going to be protective on this, just make sure I'm covering myself in case this starts to go against me. Always having the outs, man. It's not about, a lot of times for me, it's not about the profits at first. It's just worrying about the risk, right? I mean, if I can just worry about the risk, if I just keep taking my trades, keep working my profit to loss ratio, that's what's going to work me back.
NKGN on the tape again. It's just toying with that level, that sell side again. Watch out for that break. If we break that 119 close above, we could hear that money come in.
Money. Boom.
That's what I was talking about. Back to your three kind of attempts that we was looking at here. So you called this, Mitch, 3 attempts, right? These first 3, but you wouldn't acknowledge if you only had 2 up here and then 1 here. Would you still see that as 3 strikes or not?
So NKGN, right? And you're looking at what time frame? 1?
Yeah, just on the 1 minute here. Yeah, just because it's already had 3. If there was only 2 there, would you see this being the 3rd, for example, or?
Yeah, so to me, in this case, this pattern here, right? If I take a look at it on my chart, I feel like this is kind of like a breakout that it came from. So it came from kind of this little tight pattern here where it kind of wedged down. You see how it kind of wedged here, and then it kind of broke out of that. Now you're trying to recover that 160. You got up to that 160 spot. You started to like hold that pullback. Now you're kind of creating the cup and handle pattern. To me, this is a cup and handle pattern where you're going to get this nice round looking chart, nice round looking levels. And then I'd be looking for kind of pullbacks to get that kind of handle. And the handle could go off the 9 EMA. Sometimes it goes a little bit tighter than this full 160 pullback, but that's just the way that I see it now. And the cup and handle pattern doesn't necessarily give me that 1, 2, or 3 rule. If I wanted to do it, maybe it's resistance here, really tight. You see here, the 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3, down 3, and then if I'm really holding tight, it should hold this 175 range, break the 190 and go to 2. Like if I'm just being as tight as can be, right? And that's the fun part, I think, of my rule of 3 is that I look at it in any time frame. Any time frame. It could work in the 1, the 5, the daily, the weekly, the monthly. I've traded it off the monthly before. So it's got to find what works best, guys. All right, guys, let's go take a look there. Intel now giving me a nice little push here. Let's see. Let's touch on this verge to break above the 31s and 32s that I'm just hanging out here, guys. How did the Nvidia trade go there? Let's take a look here, guys. I want to watch it too, but I also got to make sure that I take my money in Intel just in case it comes down. But you see here, guys, look at the attempt right back into this 946 range. So that to me now tells me that, like, all right, so now around that range, somewhere in that should be the support that holds. Now you've gotten the 3 attempts to the downside action. Now I'm looking for upside breakout in Nvidia. So I'd go to even, let's say, a 5-minute, and you could put a trend line here. And I'd be looking for this line to break on the upside. We'll see if it happens. I'm not in this, like always, guys, full disclosure, but this is the way that I see the trade, right? Now it's developed. Now it gave you that Harmy candle on the bottom. They call this what? The hammer candle. We'll see if this is the hammer on now. Hammer on. We'll see.
Okay, I just covered MMV. Like I said, I wasn't covering it necessarily at high of day. I was covering it on. I'm not convinced I've done the right thing, but yeah. So I shorted kind of 190s. I added 184s, but then looking at the tape, previously these pushes have been up there at kind of 50,000 shares a minute, and when this hit the tape at kind of 48 minutes past the hour here, it was like 70s and 80,000 shares a minute, which is more than what it's been doing. So I've covered that. Now the issue with that is that sometimes that's exhaustion, right? Sometimes that's exhaustion for it. It's the last push. So I'm looking at it now and saying, all right, I added, and yes, it's a fine line, but that push had so, like, in terms of the volume per minute, was huge for a penny stock. So that's the reason for covering. Now it remains to be right. If we break this little trend line this support level here at 82, then obviously I think that is then going to drop to 150. But if not, so the question is now, did I do the right thing or not? Really, I think I certainly done what I said I would do. Whether the trade plays out as I originally thought or not is another question. It's on the tape again right now, actually.
Well, market's working for me in Intel.
There it goes.
There she goes.
So I followed the rule that I said I would follow to get out, but it wasn't the right thing to do. Never mind. But it was just a scratches. It's not too much. But
big attempt here in Nvidia, right? We just talked about it. Now it's crossing that trend line. So now I'd look for it to hold that trend line. I got you, Scott. So let's see what happens now, right? So you see now you got that hammer candle. You got to push above the trend line. And so a lot of times, what am I looking for now? What's called the throwback look. Some people call it the pullback look. In technical analysis, it's called the throwback look, really. So it's kind of a throwback to the line and then a recovery. So I'd look for buy orders, and I'm looking for people to kind of buy into this line on pullbacks, and then looking for the takeoff. That's called a throwback look, where a lot of traders buy the breakout and then they buy the pullback. And that's helping my Intel there. And you can see it. Boom, 33s, 35s almost showing up. Let's go ahead and just pay ourselves here in Intel. So I'm going to go ahead and just take off some here. Boom, just took off some at 32, 34s. Not bad, guys, from 31.98s. Still have the 100 shares left. Going to let this work. And what are we doing? We're working our way back to break even. Pretty much down my execution for the day. Execution's about $6. I'm down about $9. So, and I still got a trade in the green, right? So let's try to work it. Let's see if we can get in the green today.
Now look at that. That's a different story now, right?
Whoa.
That's just halted to the upside. That looked like it was going to get straight down into 150. So now I did do the right thing, right? So that's so I'm good with that. Let's see what this halt gives us now. Again, at the same level it has been before. Trader Life's on. Is what's he 125 $1.25 up overall out of AMD, 50 cents on AMD, 50 cents on LI, and 25 on OUST. Well done, Trader Life. Nice one. In the money today.
There you go, getting after it. I love to see it. PG over here doing kind of a little bit of too much holding on the VWAP. So focused on that, making sure it's not going to go above this 167.40s. That's going to get me out. So I don't want to add to it. A lot of times I look at my position and I ask myself, am I being a bull or a bear? I've mentioned this earlier on the show, so I might as well talk about it. Smash the like if you guys enjoy this kind of conversation, because I feel like this is truly where new traders learn the most, right? And so a lot of times, if you're stuck in a position, let's say in the middle of the range, right? The range in this is 167.40 to, let's say, 166.85s, right? If I want to be a bull, a lot of the times, where do I want to be? Well, a lot of times, if the best buy, right, would be like 166.90s, right? That probably isn't going to happen all the time. But where I don't want to be a lot of times is in the middle. The middle, they call the pig. Why do they call it the pig? Because the pigs get slaughtered, of course. And one of the things that you got to be looking for is being either the bull or the bear. In this case, I'm being the bear, but I'm shorting in the middle of the chart, and should be, at least from my outlook and my strategy, I like to short closer towards the top end of the range. So 167.40s here and risking off 167.50s. That would be like kind of the perfect bear trade. In this case, I'm at 167.19s, and it makes me feel a little bit more like a pig versus the bear. All right, guys, can you believe it, Scott? But it is 10:56. What a day, what a day. Smash the like out there, guys. We're going to keep it going. Like always, hit the subscribe button. We will be back. Yes, I know. Time's almost up to get out of here, but it's just how it goes, guys. I think Scott and I sometimes would stay forever if we could, if the market would let us too. But we'll see what happens today. Definitely a battle in the market. Now Nvidia turning to the downside, so be careful out there, guys. I might have to take some profits in Intel here as we start to get a pullback in some tech names. But definitely going to keep an eye out on Nvidia. It's been kind of like battling around here. Will it get the rebuy here and then come back up, break down to 946? Be somewhere that I'd be definitely watching. We'll see what happens on that Nvidia. But let's go ahead. Let's do a little bit of a recap coming up here, guys. Smash the like if you guys are enjoying the action today. It's time for our daily recap. All right, traders, for me, it's going to be AMD on the losing side of things. And you guys can see it here. We got into AMD around the 166.15 area, was trying to hold off the 166 level. So you can see here, it kind of ended up recovering just a lot later. And this is how AMD can do it sometimes. It actually went below the opening price. That should have been a sign of concern. And it did go below that. Now it's coming back. So we'll see what happens on that one. A little bit of a loss on that one. That was about 40 bucks, but making our money back in Intel, that's getting us back to, getting myself back to just down $9. And I still got Intel that's 30 up and PG that's 13 down. So overall can still be green on the day. That's what I'm here for. Battling and staying in the green, of course, and continuing to grow, right? Learning from my trades to try to continue to bend the equity curve to the next level. And like always, trying to learn from my mistakes. Maybe AMD should have gone a little bit slower into it. Could have got that curve. Like always, timing sometimes is going to play into it. But that's going to be it on my trading recap. Let's go ahead. Let's kick it to Scott and see what he got for you guys. But definitely smash the like if you guys enjoyed the action that we talked about today.
All right, so I have MMV, just literally just spoke about it. It was, got in there at 191, had an ad at 184, and then covered it at 188. So just a scratch there on MMV for me. Oh, no, it's just resumed there. It'd be interesting to see if that flushes now, but that was MMV. TANH. Oops, said an H on that one. TANH was the push down. So again, this was from a sell side liquidity pool, was up higher down to a buy side liquidity pool, and that's the trade there. trading dollar stocks, I had to manage that, the rules that we've got here. So that's what I did quite nicely. I had to wait for that to happen. Otherwise, I would have been out of break even on TANH. And then the first one was NKGN. What did I do on NKGN? So again, that was up to the sell side liquidity pool, which since we've pushed to the very, very top side. So that was in at 148, out at 165 on those small caps there this morning. Not a bad morning. Not a bad morning. Got a question in there just quickly from Al Kendrick. Can you merge two 60K accounts to make it a big 520? No, I believe you can mix a super with an extra, which would take it to 240. Is that an 80 and a 160? I think.
Yeah, definitely reach out. Yeah, reach out to them if you're interested in something like that. They'll definitely work out and let you know what is available. But did you guys enjoy today's action? Let us know in the chat. I want to hear what you guys are liking or not liking, right? Because that's what we're here for, right, guys? We're here to support you guys. So let us know, and we will be able to keep building on that. I hope you guys enjoyed me being back. Scott, appreciate you holding down the fort. And we'll keep getting after it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Like always, keep battling out in the markets. It's never going to be just one way. There's always another side. So like always, try to find traders that can benefit you, a community that can help you. That's what we're here for, guys. Trade the pool. We'll be back tomorrow. Definitely smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, and let everybody know this is the place you want to be.